Hey there, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel here. And let's just talk about a brand that, let's just say, all Canadians have a love-hate relationship with. So here we are after personal vlog number 75 here. Let's call this one love-hate relationship with Canadian Tire here, as we all, as Canadians here, seem to have a love-hate relationship with this brand, Canadian Tire. But at the same time, you gotta think it's quite impressive that this company has been around for almost 100 years, given the fierce competition out there in big box and hardware stores here. That Canadian Tire definitely still is a big part of our Canadian lives here. I know some people also call it crappy tire as well there for the quality products here, but it definitely has started out, come out far from its humble roots as just a small, automotive garage to now being kind of a hardware slash automotive slash general store there. As it definitely has stacked there with, we got Home Depots in Canada as well as Lowe's, and you got Walmart as well there, and then you got Rona. So definitely is impressive that Canadian Tire has definitely had its stake not only in the Canadian retail but Canadian culture in general here. As also the fact that Canadian Tire is also built out big time with their Canadian Tire Financial Services. I remember their motto, "Be nice with your money." And then also the Triangle Awards, because other brands that you might be supporting Canadian Tire that you're not aware of is, they're definitely partnered with Mark's, which is Mark's Work Warehouse, used to be called that. Definitely that's where I buy a lot of my products from. They're also associated with Sport Chek, which is part of the Forzani group, which, is the same Forzanis that, played with the Calgary Stampeders there, that found that Sport Chek group there. And then as well, Party City. So it's definitely been a huge part of the Canadian culture and the retail landscape there. That's where we kind of love it, but the part that maybe could potentially set some people off here is the fact that one thing that was unique with Canadian Tire is Canadian Tire money. Yes, we had our own currency here, but not in the way that you think there. Because when you buy something with Canadian Tire and get change back there, there's a certain percentage of it. I'm not quite sure the exact percentage. I think it's like 0.25% of the purchase there. You get Canadian Tire money back there, and definitely joke about the bills and denominations of the Canadian Tire money there, where they come in denominations like 25 cents, 50 cents. I think there's actually 10 and 5 cents, and then if you're very lucky, $1, $2. So. And then you actually do read about stories about people who've been saving up Canadian Tire money for years there and able to buy a big expensive item with it. And definitely you need a briefcase to bring in thousands of dollars worth of Canadian Tire money there to buy it there. That's probably where people seem to have that love-hate relationship with Canadian Tire there, is the Canadian Tire money. And some people say the quality of products too sometimes, but there's a lot of products that I have that I've had for years that were bought at that store, and there's definitely many thousands of locations around the country here. And I believe the most recent store that was open at the Edmonton South Common is the biggest one in the country, which is like a big 2-story, because most Canadian Tire stores are just like a 1-story store, kind of like Walmart, because you don't see any Walmarts or Home Depots, Ronas, or Lowe's, those kind of stores. You don't see them two-story buildings. I mean, mostly you see a Canadian Tire, they're either a standalone store or part of a strip mall. Or a case that I know one location I know in particular in Fernie, that there's a Canadian Tire that's attached to Mark's there, because they're part of the same company there, and it's definitely a huge corporation, Canadian corporation that it seems like love it or hate it. It's a big part of our Canadian culture and our identity, and we all shop there, regardless if you think you're shopping there or not. It's kind of also like Loblaws for the grocery store chain, where Loblaws definitely has a lot of stake in other stores as well, including Shoppers Drug Mart, which I regularly shop there as well. But getting back to Canadian Tire here, I know the other thing that sometimes it drives you insane or not is the commercials there. I mean, they always come up with some jingle that gets overused, or it starts with you. Or I know that another thing that got parodied too much on Canadian comedy with the Royal Canadian Air Force, and this hour has 22 minutes there, was that Canadian Tire couple. I mean, there was that guy with the beard there and his wife there, and they were showing like everyday products bought from Canadian Tire, promoting Canadian Tire, and showing how it integrates their life there. And I think they stopped that campaign after it got parodied too much on those said comedy shows there. And I know one time Canadian Tire definitely decided to think about advertising during the Olympics there, but then they pushed back from that, because sometimes what happens during the Olympics here, the reason why you get inundated with the same ads over and over again for the 2-3 weeks of the Olympics there is that it costs so much to buy your ad time there. I think it's even more expensive than the Super Bowl. That then you see the same ad 4 or 5 times here, to the point that drives you insane, that you have a negative connotation with said product after the Olympics here, because you got annoyed by that commercial too much. But the one thing that's actually kind of funny, and I do remember those commercials when you see on this platform here, that they had interesting Christmas commercials where they had Santa Claus and Ebenezer Scrooge together in the same commercials there, and their motto was like, you can give like Santa and save like Scrooge there. And there were definitely a lot of funny, hilarious commercials there that were used in the 1990s by Canadian Tire there, and definitely there were some products there that you saw that you don't necessarily see at the store today, or the types of products there, because it definitely is mostly an automotive and hardware store there, with an automotive section for actually car repairs and maintenance there. We also got Fountain Tire here in Canada, and various others like Midas. And then they also have gas bars, and then it's all those retail stores like the Sport Chek and Mark's there. So I mean, I'm gonna say overall I like Canadian Tire more than I hate it, just because they're associated with Mark's and Sport Chek as well there, and a big part and a big stake in our Canadian retail landscape here, given the competition out there, and the fact that some recent stores have closed, like Sears, and I think Sears is definitely not long for in the U.S. there. And then the failed experiment with the Target Canada expansion there, where they thought they did a wholesale invasion there, but then we lost Zellers, and then we still got Hudson's Bay, which that's the oldest company in North America there. Back in 1670, the Hudson's Bay Company there, which traces back all the way to fur trading here. So that definitely tells you about our Canadian culture and that. But the Canadian Tire money, I think, is probably the one thing that people probably have that love-hate relationship with Canadian Tire a lot more. Just, my payback of the awards doesn't seem enough. And it's like, if you want to buy, something that costs $10 for, and you've got all Canadian Tire money, it's like you have to have a stack this big. And I think there was another joke video where it says someone, hijacked a Brinks truck full of Canadian Tire money and said they only lost like $20. That's probably not too far from the truth there. That $20 worth of Canadian Tire money would definitely fill up Brinks truck there. But I just say, what do you feel about Canadian Tire? You know, the whole company as a whole, and you know where it started originally to where it is now, and how it's managed to be a part of our Canadian culture, an icon, as well as the retail landscape up here in Canada here. And you know, just some of the commercials that you might remember from the past there, or any cheesy or funny slogans that they've used over the years. I have to say, I still think the most memorable ones are the Christmas commercials, where it's like you get like Santa, and you say like Scrooge there, and you had Santa Claus and Scrooge in the same commercial. Who would have thought that? And then, by the way, the person that's on the Canadian Tire money is a fictional Scottish character that has that Scottish stereotype on being cheap there, but actually that person's name is Sandy McTire. Sandy McTire. That's who's on the Canadian Tire money. Just a made up person that it would be kind of creepy if there was actually a Sandy McTire out there that kind of looked like that face on the Canadian Tire money there. So yeah, as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders here, I mostly do Calgary sports on this channel here, but I also do personal vlogs like this where I talk about anything and attempt at comedy, and I also share my experiences. Let's say I'm on the road or at a sporting event. Who knows, maybe if I went to catch an Ottawa Senators game, I would catch a game at the said Canadian Tire Centre, although I haven't been to an out-of-town NHL game yet. But who knows, could happen maybe one day. So as I say, that's all the stuff I put on my YouTube channel. So if you do want to follow along this Calgary sports fan journey, you know what you need to do. And I also have my other social media links down in the description below there. So as I say here, I now have Triangle Awards here, so electronically I'll collect my Canadian Tire money that way, and I'll see you in the next video.